Hi, and welcome to another video by Get It Done Home Repairs. Today I'm going to show you how to install a tool holder that mounts on the wall. Now this one I just happened to pick up at a big box store. Not that I'm endorsing this one or any other one. This just happens to be the one that I picked up and I'm going to be using. So let me show you how you're going to calculate where it's going to go, and then we're going to get this job done. Start over again. Hi, and welcome to another video by Get It Done Home Repairs. Today I'm going to show you how to install a tool holder on the wall so it doesn't fall down after a short period of time. This just happens to be the one that I picked up in a big box store. Not that I'm endorsing this one. This just happens to be the one that I'm using for this particular video. All right. The most important thing is whenever you mount, this is actually fairly long. This is only a short section of it. There's actually 4 sections of this. It goes pretty much to a good distance here, probably about 4 feet. Most importantly is when you mount this up, they give you mollies to install it in drywall. You want to try to get it into a beam, so that way it screws into a beam, and chances are with the weight of the tools on there, it's not going to pull out of the wall. I've seen so many of these that people install them and they put it on the wall using the mollies that come provided in the kit, and they wind up ripping out of the wall after a short period of time because of the weight, and it slowly pulls out. So I'm going to recommend you make sure you try to get a beam. And if you measure from a certain point to a certain point, the beams are usually 16 inches on center. So if you find the beam over here and you center it on that beam, you come over 16 inches and you should hit another beam right there, which is what this is set up for. We're going to mount this on the beam over here, and then we're going to put it across here, and the next channel, which is like this, fits over the top like this, and it actually has screws here and here, so we can mount it into another beam right here, and so on down the wall. We want to always try to hit a beam when we can. All right, so let me bring in, I'm going to show you what kind of tools you're going to need. We're going to make our calculations, and then we're going to get started. We're going to get this job done and on to the next one. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about what tools you're going to need. Now this just happens to be the tools that I'm using here. Not that I'm endorsing the DeWalt. It just happens to be the one that I'm using in this particular video. So we're going to need a drill. We're going to need a set of drill bits. We're going to need a pencil, a Phillips head screwdriver, a hammer, possibly, a ruler or something to measure, and of course we're going to need a stud finder. Again, I'm not endorsing this one. This just happens to be the one that I'm using for the video. These are the mollies that they give you. These are the screws that they also provide you. Now we're going to try not to use the mollies if we don't have to. We're going to always try to get a beam with this here. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to come up on the wall over here, and we're going to calculate what height we want the tool rack to be. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set our tool rack approximately where we would like it to be. Now in this particular case, I want to have the tool rack 5 feet off the ground, because the longest tool that I'm going to be putting in there, it's going to be approximately 5 feet. So we're going to take our measuring tape, we're going to bring it up over here, and we're going to just mark the height of where we want it to actually, the height we want it to be. All right, so we're going to mark the height, which is 5 feet. And now I did already use my stud finder to locate a stud in the wall, but we will do it together so that you can see how I located it. We're going to take our tool rack, put it right here. Now I wanted these pegs here. Of course, they have to be mounted down on the bottom, but you have to read the application for your particular shelf or hanging unit that you're going to put on there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our stud finder. We're going to put it on the wall, and we're going to find where the stud is located. So that's where our stud starts. And that's where our stud ends. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to do that one more time. We're going to find our stud. So it starts approximately there. and it ends approximately here. So we're going to go right in the middle, and we're going to put a mark of where our stud is located. Then we're going to come over 16 inches this way, and we're going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to measure over 16 inches from that point. Okay, 16 inches over. And now we know we want to be 60 inches off of the ground. Okay, and that's where our tool rack is going to go. So we're going to mount it there. We're putting this in the center here, and now we want to see if this is where a stud is going to be as well. And with the stud finder, that's where our stud starts. And that's where it ends. So we do have a stud right in this location right here. So we marked the location here, and we marked the location here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to drill a very small pilot hole right here and right here, just to confirm that there's a beam behind these two dots that I put here. Again, you want to measure it just to make sure that you're going to be the right height off the floor. We want to be 60 inches. Okay, so we are 60 inches off the floor. Next thing we're going to do now is we're going to take a small pilot hole here and here just to confirm that we're in the beam. What I always recommend doing is use a very small drill, a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch. So we're just going to put a small hole here just to see. That's our beam right there. And that's our beam there as well. Okay, so now we know that the beam is really where it's supposed to be. Next thing we're going to do now is we're going to take our tool holder, and we're going to come up here exactly 60 inches centered. Remember, we're going to go 60 inches center. Okay. We're going to take our second and put it on here just like this. We're going to mark it right where we're going to put our second hole. Right here. So now we have our first hole and our second hole. Now we're going to measure over here. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to connect this onto here, just like this. And then we're going to mark our second hole right here. And now we're going to drill that there and that one there so we can screw it in. Again, we're going to drill it just a 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to pre-drill the holes that's going to the shelf that the tool holder is going to go on to. Okay, so now we have the holes drilled. We're going to put the one part of the shelf up, not tight, just loose. And we're just going to catch it by 1 or 2 threads, that's all. We're going to do the exact same thing with the other screw on the bottom right here. We're just going to pull it up. Okay? I'm going to go just a slight bit tighter. Okay, we're going to leave it loose. We're not going to tighten this up. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to take our next section and we're going to take and put these hooks in first, wherever we want it to locate them. In this particular case, we're going to put them right in here. Now these can be changed later on if you choose to. We're going to face in the same direction. They just come through, just like that, so that they match these here. Okay, and then this is going to interlock with this one right here, just like that. And then we're going to put the screws in here. So let's grab some screws and we're going to continue. We're going to go into the hole that we pre-drilled. Now we're not going all the way in, remember, we're just going in there very loosely. And you can see we're still loose, we're not tight, everything is still loose here. Okay, now we're going to put our next section over here. Hope you can see this here, yep. Take our next section and we're going to bring it in here, and we know we want to be 60 inches up from the ground, remember? Okay. We'll come over here and do the exact same thing here. 60 inches up from the ground. Okay, which we are. We're going to mark where we're going to put the screw holes in. Then we're going to take this back off. We're going to grab our drill and we're going to pre-drill these holes here, again very slowly to make sure you get a beam. This is how it's going to go on here. So now we're just going to take our hook again, put it through here, just like this. Same thing here. Now you can put them really anywhere you want to, but that's where these are going to go. Okay, we're going to connect our third section in like that, and then we're going to screw it in. All right, now that everything is in place, we can tighten it up. Okay, and that's it. Our tool holder is now on. And obviously, this is how the tools will be held on, and then you can put all your tools along there. The most important thing though is when you're mounting this, try to hit a beam whenever you can, because if you're just using a molly, chances are those tools over a period of time are going to pull those shells right off. But that's it, this job is done, and on to the next. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.